First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Andreas Behr. I'm from Büsing, Müffelmann Theye. And by the way, it's only with one S, not with a double S, which no problem, but the soft S, as we would say in Germany. I'm personally from the Berlin office. We have offices as well in Bremen, Frankfurt am Main, and in Munich. We are one of the mid-sized law firms with nearly 50 lawyers now. And what is my personal view on legal networks? Let me put it like this. We should ask us, what kind of world are we living in? And I think it's useful to think and to have a look at our clients. What do? They are acting globally and internationally. Not only the international companies, the big companies, also the mid-sized companies in Spain and Germany. They are present on the market internationally. They are doing business all over the world. And they have to face international competition. And they have to prove themselves in the international competition. What does it mean for them? First of all, cost pressure. They need to have good advice, but they also have to sell their products at reasonable prices. And what do they do? They are looking, for example, for alliances, for strategic partnerships on the global level, on the national level, in order to build new strength and to avoid their own weakness and to see how they can have a better position in their national and international markets. And what do they expect from their advisors, especially from their lawyers? Now, that we do the same, that we act accordingly, that we have a view to international problems, that we have the capability of being present wherever they need us and with all the problems they are facing. And they expect, as was already pointed out, they expect high quality, they expect a quick response, and they expect reasonable prices. And I want to avoid a misunderstanding. I think all of you know this joke about this American lawyer who has a plaque in his office which says, we offer good work, quick work, cheap work. You can always choose 2 out of this 3. So it's very clear. You can have good work and quick work, then it will not be cheap. You can have good work and maybe cheap work, but then it will not be quick. And you can have quick work and cheap work, will not be good. This is not what we aim for, but reasonable price means something else than cheap prices. Reasonable means that you have to, as our clients, you have to focus on things that you spend money only on things which are really worth spending the money. Now, what can we do in order to give the best advice to our clients? We could try to work as the real big international law firms, to be present in every market where our clients are. This will be, first of all, very complicated because, as you pointed out, even the big law firms, they are not presented everywhere. They may have 15 or 20 offices all around the world, but maybe not especially there where your client is doing business, first of all. Secondly, manpower will be difficult to make such a big law firm at least if you expect to have your own quality level, which you gained in your own office. Because it's very difficult to just open a business elsewhere, to open an office in a foreign jurisdiction and provide the same level of quality work that you provide at home. And last but not least, as mentioned before, the costs. Because if you do that, it will cost you a fortune. So, what is the answer? The answer, from my point of view, as you pointed out already, could be and should be a network, a combination of lawyers working together, but what is very important, they have to be on the top level in their home jurisdictions. Why? You pointed out that the two aspects of collaboration. First of all, you have to be sure that your client is not taken away by the colleague you are working with. That's true. To be honest, that is not my first concern, because I am self-reliant enough in order to say, okay, this is my client. If he wants to choose another lawyer, he will do so. It is not necessarily my concern that he will go away from me because another lawyer from another jurisdiction came and even better meets his requirements than I can do. But, which is most important, is that the colleague from abroad provides the same level of quality to the work, so that you can rely on this guy because your client relies on you. Yeah? And this is really the key from my point of view. And this is the same if I take one of my clients from my Berlin office to our Frankfurt office or to the Munich office. I must be sure that the partner, that the associate who is dealing with the matter, does it in the same way I would do, with the same level of quality, because otherwise my client will be very disappointed because he said, you're still responsible, because I don't necessarily want to deal only with this new lawyer. This is the industry style. Yeah? Referring me to another lawyer, no, that's not the way we are doing it. We do it of the old way, the craftsman style. You're still responsible for me, and you get the resources you need, and they help you. But if something went wrong, I will call you, Javier, or I will call you, Andreas, and tell you, your partner, your colleague as well, this is not the way I expected this. This has to be avoided. In order to avoid this, you have to get a certain level of harmonization, common standards, qualities, and what is even more important, as Javier pointed out, shared values. Shared values, from my point of view, is even more important than the other more technical aspects of cooperation, because with shared values, you can fill everything, but without shared values, everything is lost. So this is very important. How do you approach clients? Which is the kind of way you're working with clients? How are you working on the cases? So stick to what has made you strong at home, but you have to work a little bit, let's say, like in the EU, yeah, which I know has not the best reputation right now. I don't want to go too much into details, but one of the most important principles of the EU is the principle of subsidiarity, which means whatever can be dealt with on a local level should be dealt with on a local level. And this is sometimes forgotten. Yeah? And if you stick to that principle, stick to what has made you strong in your home country, but do the necessary things in order to form a new network which is based on quality. What can help us? That I think most of the lawyers who have gathered here have some, let's say, roots in the Roman law. I think this is a big advantage, because this is something I always find out if I'm in legal discussions with colleagues from Spain, from France, from Italy. It is always so much easier because we have the same concept of law. It is always more difficult to discuss with colleagues from the common law countries because they have a different concept of law. Not necessarily does this lead to different results, but I think when we're thinking about cooperation, shared values, it helps a lot if you come from the same principles and you share the same principles. So, what must we do in order to create a network? All these things have been pointed out before. Most important, meeting people, networking, getting to know each other, the strengths, the weaknesses as well, what can be done, what experiences are available, even in fields which at first hand are not necessarily sticked to a certain client or a certain case, because you never know. Yeah, if you talk about people having done this or having done that, it might be useful at a later stage, or at least to understand how this guy is really working, how his ideas are. And sure, working together on cases comes next, is very important in order to form same level of quality, to see how we work together, cooperation, in order to get to receive common standards, and last but not least, exchange of young lawyers. This is very important from my point of view because it fits two purposes in one. On the one hand, it makes it easier in order to get to know each other. You have people from the Berlin office going to Madrid. They will come back after a few weeks or month, and they will know people. Okay, let me put in another example. Yeah? And on the other hand,
This is immigration.
We are not talking about Brexit, don't we? And at the same time, it makes us much more attractive as employers, because at least this is our experience, if we can offer our young lawyers, oh, we are part of a network, or at least we are cooperating with legal companies in Madrid, in Rome, in Paris, in New York, and so on and so on. And if you want, you can spend a few weeks there. This is really an advantage, because I know from discussions with a lot of young people, this is something they appreciate in working for international law firms, that they have the possibility to go abroad. It is not necessarily all about money. It is not necessarily all about being part of a big law firm. According to my experiences, young people nowadays know very exactly what they want and what they don't want. I have to say they know it better than I knew when I was at their age. But therefore, this exchange program, this possibility of doing exchange with young lawyers, this is so important. And my wish would be that this point could be addressed and would be part of our network. And I saw in the notes that we have taken that this is a very important point. Thank you very much for your attention.